Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up in Our News tonight, the Prime Minister delivers an address at the UN. The Health Minister tours Sandilands Rehabilitation Center. Vaccination Committee members say the country is approaching a huge milestone. Some educators still facing challenges with virtual platforms, and dive into a MasterChef experience with Rev. Welcome to Our News, the weekend edition, and thanks for joining us. I'm Georgie O'Bain, topping news tonight. Prime Minister Philip Davis addressing the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York today. He touched on issues impacting the Bahamas, including the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and Hurricane Dorian.
The pandemic has been very difficult for countries like mine. We face an extraordinary need for new resources in health and education and housing, just as our economy is contracting dramatically. Our interconnected world means that we only will be safe when all countries, including mine, have the tools needed to fight this virus. This requires the equitable distribution of vaccines.
Davis asks member states to move away from stockpiling vaccines for self-preservation, stating that countries can only be safe against the pandemic if we are all safe.
I wish to thank the government and people of the United States for their donations of vaccines to the Bahamas and the wider Caribbean region. This gift, alongside donations received previously from India, China, Antigua and Barbuda, and Dominica, will save many Bahamian lives.
The United States has promised to donate 397,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine to the Bahamas. In August, the Bahamas received its first tranche of 128,700 doses. The three-tranche donation will be enough to fully vaccinate nearly 200,000 people. Earlier this year, the Bahamas received 87,200 doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. 20,000 of the doses were donated by the Indian government, and remaining were secured through the COVAX facility. While Davis thanked countries that donated vaccines to the Bahamas, he stressed that the country needs more help with acquiring vaccines.
But this is still not enough. We need more. Our demand for vaccines has significantly outstripped supply. Along with vaccines, it is important that safe treatments and therapeutics are made accessible and designated as public goods.
Davis assured member states that the Bahamas supports any move that will ensure equal vaccine distribution to curb the spread of COVID-19.
The Bahamas joins those reiterating the need to fully fund the Access to COVID-19 Tools Accelerator and its COVAX facility. And we reiterate our alignment with CARICOM's call for the continued high-level engagement to urgently address equitable access to vaccines.
Crumbling infrastructure and the need to expand resources were at the top of Health Minister Dr. Michael Darvall's list of observations as he toured the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center this week, getting a first-hand look at the challenges and the needs of that institution.
I've had the opportunity to see the adolescents ward and also the geriatric ward. Many of the patients that are in the wards are well kept. But as we go through the wards, we begin to realize that some of the infrastructure is crumbling, and we need to find resources to begin to get the infrastructure back to a level that is satisfactory for the caring of our elderly and our pediatric special children.
Darvall expressed confidence that Sandilands Rehabilitation Center has a solid COVID-19 plan in place that will prevent COVID spread for patients if another COVID outbreak hits the institution.
As I toured the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center, the first thing came to mind is where we are with our COVID protocols. I'm pleased that Nurse McKinsey, as well as the additional staff, have definitely come up with a plan. That particular plan we will develop and we will work upon to ensure that everyone who is permanent here at the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center will be safe. And we have the protocols to prevent cross-contamination. And if we do find individuals who are positive, we have facilities here where we can isolate. And those individuals who need to be quarantined, we have that facility as well.
The Ministry of Health is working to develop another plan for the Samaritan's Purse COVID-19 facilities at Princess Margaret Hospital, as potential weather systems could impact those facilities.
We had the ability to tour the Samaritan's Purse Pathogen Center, and I can tell you that I must give our nurses what they deserve. They're doing an excellent job, but we are in the hurricane season. And there is a tropical depression out there, and we always must think in terms of hurricanes. And so even though those facilities are functional, if we have a hurricane with high winds or heavy rain, they will be compromised. And it's important for the Ministry of Health, our COVID task force, as well as those who are on the front line to have an alternative site. We're looking at that, and we're trying to build capacity as we speak.
Well, the Bahamas is slated to hit the milestone of getting 100,000 people fully vaccinated in just under 2 weeks. That's according to Deputy Chair of the National Vaccine Consultative Committee, Ed Fields, who says that the recent uptake in residents getting the jab is pushing the numbers up rapidly. Our Jasmine Brown reports.
We are now in the second dose phase of Pfizer, which means that we've got another, add another 30,000 or so to the fully vaccinated crew.
COVID-19 vaccinations are picking up since the arrival of Pfizer vaccines in country, according to Deputy Chair of the National Vaccine Consultative Committee, Ed Fields. As of September 18th, a total of 184,461 doses of the COVID vaccine were administered to Bahamians and residents. 73,901 people are fully vaccinated.
That means we're getting closer and closer. In fact, I anticipate within the next week and a half or so, especially with this Family Island push, which is also, by the way, the second dose administering, that we will be, on the $100,000 mark in the next week or two. What that means, and we don't have that denominator that's certain, but if you figure we have a population of about 390,000 to 400,000, you take our children under 12 and the eligible, vaccinees. We're climbing up to that 30% mark.
On Monday, the White House announced that only fully vaxxed foreign visitors will be allowed to enter the United States come November. Officials believe this will spark bigger demand for the vaccine. While vaccine hesitancy still appears to be high in the Bahamas, Fields says it's clear more people are coming out to get the jab.
We are having very good uptake. With the announcement, of course, of the U.S. Edict, I anticipate, and I don't have the numbers to give you, but I anticipate that we will see more and more numbers climbing.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Michael Darville, has announced that the government plans to open additional vaccination centers in an effort to enhance the vaccination program.
It's important for us to keep our vaccination program at an optimum level and begin to open up more sites where Bahamians who want to be vaccinated can have access to the vaccinations, not only the first dose, but the second dose. It's quite difficult to actually unveil a complete plan until we know exactly where the country is at and what are some of the recommendations that are going to be made by the experts locally, as well as to get some international experts on board.
On Monday, the White House announced that sometime in November, it will require adult international travelers must be fully vaccinated to enter the United States. Dr. Darville was asked if he expects that the new policy will prompt more Bahamians to get vaccinated.
We are definitely mounting a very aggressive international campaign because most of these vaccines, they come via governments, and the batches for our small nations do not necessarily meet the requirements. We intend to move very aggressively in the international community and begin to use our foreign affairs tools as a mechanism for us to get the necessary vaccines to ensure that individuals who express great interest to be vaccinated can have access to both the first and second dose.
Still to come on our News Weekend, the 2021 general election made history for more than one reason. Why educators say access to education is still an issue in the virtual environment. And do you want to chef it up with the Food Network experts? We'll tell you how when our news returns.
The great True True Bahamian Treasure Hunt is here, where you can win great vacation prize packages to hotels throughout the Bahamas. Watch Our TV on weeknights between 6 and 11 p.m. for your 10 True True Bahamian clues. Take note of your answers and clues. You never know, you might see the same clue twice. Follow Our TV Originals on Facebook to submit your correct answers before 11 a.m. every Saturday. Watch Our News Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. to see if you are the weekly winner. If you didn't win, watch for clues next week because the contest runs all summer long. Go to Our TV Originals Facebook page for more information and contest details.
You're watching Our News Weekend. Welcome back. The 2021 general election was historic in many ways as the PLP was swept back into power after a snap election was called. 7 women, all PLPs, were elected to Parliament, making history for the most women ever elected. But Jared Higgs tells us that there were other significant milestones and trends that continued.
Associate Professor of History at the University of the Bahamas, Dr. Christopher Curry, says history was also made on the FNM side as it squandered the largest parliamentary majority since 1956.
We had the one-term prime minister who was the only prime minister to have called a snap election and lost. Pinling called a couple of snap elections in 68 and 72, and he won by landslides in both cases. Ingram, I wouldn't call it a snap election. He called an early election in 97 by about 3 months, but he also won. So this is the first time we've had a prime minister who called a snap election but lost.
The PLP's win extended a trend since 2002 of voting out governments. The last time a party won consecutive elections was the FNM in 1997. Curry says the Davis administration will have to figure out how to break that cycle if it wants to be re-elected in 5 years.
How do you manage to break a cycle that has been going on, a pattern really, for 20, 25 years? How do we break out of that cycle? So one of the things that we're learning is that the electorate are impatient in a sense, right? Like people are like, we live in a microwavable society. People want instant change right away. And they quickly become disgusted or disinterested or disheartened by government when the government doesn't do things to show that they're serious about governance.
The PLP won 32 out of 39 seats, virtually flipping the FNM's previously held majority. Curry says the FNM's failure to deliver on promised reform, such as term limits on the Prime Minister and a fixed election date, hurt the administration when it came time to decide.
They were supposed to have an independent boundaries commission. They were supposed to have campaign reform legislation. Well, they didn't do any of those things. So, all of that comes back to haunt you if, as a party, you make promises that you aren't able to fulfill. And the Bahamian electorate are no longer people that drink the punch and are happy right after the election. You already are starting to see people turning on the PLP even only after 1 week.
Reporting for Our News Weekend, I'm Jared Higgs.
Well, former Senate President Lady Sharon Wilson applauding the Prime Minister for appointing 5 women to his cabinet. She called it an historic step in the right direction.
This is historic, and I think it's welcomed across the board in this country, and I dare say needed, because we need to bring the inclusiveness of just what gender represents to our parliament.
Appointments to the 22-member Davis cabinet were completed on Wednesday. The women at the table are Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin, Transport and Housing Minister JoBeth Colby Davis, Grand Bahama Minister Ginger Moxie, Minister of State for Public Service Pia Glover Roll, and Minister of State for Social Services Lisa Ramming. Wilson says it's encouraging.
I think we are giving proper recognition to women who can in fact make a difference. It's not just that they're women, but they are capable, qualified women. And so it's finally good to see women who can make a difference being placed in a position where I know that they will make a major difference.
She also expressed confidence that the Bahamas is ready for a woman to be Prime Minister. When Our News Weekend comes back from the break, educators say challenges persist weeks into the new school year. Plus, volunteers with a mission of hope sail into Grand Bahama. The details when Our News returns.
The great True True Bahamian Treasure Hunt is here, where you can win great vacation prize packages to hotels throughout the Bahamas. Watch Our TV on weeknights between 6 and 11 p.m. for your 10 True True Bahamian clues. Take note of your answers and clues. You never know, you might see the same clue twice. Follow Our TV Originals on Facebook to submit your correct answers before 11 a.m. every Saturday. Watch Our News Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. to see if you are the weekly winner. If you didn't win, watch for clues next week because the contest runs all summer long. Go to Our TV Originals Facebook page for more information and contest details.
Weeks into the new school year, the educators are still struggling to get all students logged into the virtual platform. Area Vice President of Educators Council and Allied Workers Union, Martha Edgecombe, says it's been 3 weeks and children are still trickling in.
I have a class of 20. I may have 6, 7 students who are signing in. I'm not certain as to what their challenge may be on their end. I don't know if it's because of the device, because of the internet, but they're not logging in. And so we need the parents to really know and understand the severity of their kids signing into the virtual school, because this is school. It needs to be taken seriously. We have it set up where it's a regular school day. They have breaks and lunch. They have times when they can, take a break, but they need to understand how important it is for them to sign in.
For educators on Grand Bahama who were preliminarily face-to-face last semester, the virtual platform has been challenging as they try to navigate teaching in a new environment.
The program rolled out a bit late for us here in Grand Bahama. I think they would have had some experience with it last year. But for us here in Grand Bahama, we are now becoming a little bit more accustomed to the program, but it still poses us some challenges for teachers who are now using the program and more or less getting an on-the-job training with using the LMS program, because we just simply did not have sufficient time in advance to fully prepare and fully get acquainted with the program. And so some teachers are having challenges.
Principals are also facing their own set of challenges, according to the president of the Managerial Educators Union.
I know there's a new EMA system, they call it. It's really driving my members crazy because, the system itself has created some challenges. Those at the executive management level who is responsible for the system are still trying to find their way around the system. There's been very little training, despite what has been said, on the ground for persons who are responsible. The workload has almost doubled.
Well, recently, Grand Bahama welcomed 200 visitors representing 56 countries, as well as their floating home that also happens to be a massive book fair.
Buenos días, my name is Micaela and I come from Ecuador. Bienvenidos a Logos Hope.
Bună ziua, my name is Nikita, I am from Moldova. Bine ați venit pe Logos Hope.
The crew of the MV Logos Hope sailed into Freeport this month, bringing the world's largest floating book fair back to Grand Bahama after a long absence. General Manager of the Ministry of Tourism on Grand Bahama, Stephen Johnson, welcomed the crew during a special ceremony on Friday.
We're so happy that we could transform Grand Bahama into a new tourism division. We are working with, we got religious tourism is going to be a big growth on Grand Bahama. A lot of people have been here. They've been praying for us. They've been here during Dorian. They've been here during COVID time. And so we're really appreciative of your organization, Logos Hope.
The Logos Hope is operated by international charity Good Books for All Ships. It has a mission to spread knowledge with the world. The ship has more than 5,000 titles on board, and visitors in each port of call are invited to browse its books. Randy Grebe is the director of the MV Logos Hope, but many Bahamians know him as Uncle Randy.
Our goal is bringing help and hope. That's what our heart of service is unto the people of the world. And I can tell you, every single nation we go to, there are hurting people. And even last year, as we walked through the streets and towns of Abaco and saw the horrific devastation in that country, we didn't find one person, actually I did not have a conversation with one person that was complaining. They actually were like, let's go make this happen. Thank you for coming.
The Logos Hope will be in Freeport until October 12th and is open for visitors every day except Monday. Reporting for our news, I'm Christina Dragovich.
how Rev is giving you the chance to get in the kitchen with a Food Network expert chef. That's coming up when our News Weekend returns.
The great True True Bahamian Treasure Hunt is here, where you can win great vacation prize packages to hotels throughout the Bahamas. Watch Our TV on weeknights between 6 and 11 p.m. for your 10 True True Bahamian clues. Take note of your answers and clues. You never know, you might see the same clue twice. Follow Our TV Originals on Facebook to submit your correct answers before 11 a.m. every Saturday. Watch Our News Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. to see if you are the weekly winner. If you didn't win, watch for clues next week because the contest runs all summer long. Go to Our TV Originals Facebook page for more information and contest details.
You're watching Our News Weekend. Welcome back. A Master Chef experience is coming to a kitchen near you this Sunday. In fact, it could be your kitchen. Rev is inviting subscribers to learn from the Master Chef in a free virtual class. Rev Marketing and TV Manager Mikkel Ferguson says whether you're just learning your way around the kitchen or a chef, the experience is one you can't miss.
We want our customers to come with questions. This is an opportunity for you to ask questions to a Food Network. There may be some budding chefs out there who just want some insights on how you could become, one of the top chefs in the Bahamas as well. And we want to give that availability to our customers.
Food Network is one of the most popular channels on the Rev TV lineup. Ferguson says the idea was to bring the best of the Food Network into the homes locally. Ferguson says Rev will soon be serving up a lot more for its customers.
But customers can definitely expect to see more of this coming with the return of Insecure and HBO over the next few weeks. We plan to have some content initiatives there. And we just want to encourage you to visit our social media pages, watch our TV, just to hear what we have up in terms of where our customers can be in contact with our content and how they can be a part of it.
The virtual class is free, but you have to register on Rev's website to take part. One lucky attendee will win a $200 grocery voucher. Well, thank you so much for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Georgie O'Bain, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.